All right, hey gang, Nate Baer here, lead technical tactician for Monument Traders Alliance and Trade of the Day. And in today's video, just kind of want to touch base on the indexes. I'll show you guys actually a cool setup we did last week in Daily Profits Live, and then go over a trade for this week. So, the big thing for me is today we had a CPI that came out at 8:30. That's come and gone. I was kind of like thinking I'm going to back off. I'm going to ease up on some of my positions and get through CPI just to make sure that this isn't like a hidden landmine, right? So basically we come in and CPI comes in hot and the market's gap down, 1.5%. So we're through that, no big deal. We're up here near all-time highs. We don't have a squeeze, but the Qs here look great. Structurally, I think we're going to go get new highs on the Qs here. IWM is at the highs. So right now, and at some point we will get a pullback, but right now I don't see any huge red flags, nothing like that, right? So we're just cruising higher. One trade I wanted to show you guys from last week, and this is a neat way to do it, is I like to find setups sort of within setups, right? And as we look at BIIB here, you'll notice that we had a daily squeeze, we had a really nice structure, right? And we started playing BIIB right in through here, right around this point of control. We took an entry and we got our target on Friday, right? So this is 1272 extension. But within that, it's like, so how do you play that? You can buy it here and you can just hold. That's one way to do it. But we actually took 3 separate 100% winners in this name. And I want to just kind of show you how we did that. So we knew that what I like to call the anchor chart, right? That daily chart was bullish. So within that, we start looking for setups. Now, the first one is here as it came into, it broke through this point of control here. We actually picked some up in through here, right? And we flipped that out for our first 100%er of the week. Then we waited for the next squeeze to develop, right? So up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. We picked another trade up and through here, flipped it out for our second 100%er of the week. And then we waited, and I think in through here, there was a 30-minute squeeze right in through here. So we picked that up and flipped it out for our third 100%er of the week. Now, could you have just bought here, right, at that daily point of control and held into the target? Yes, you could have certainly done that. But one of the things I like to do, I'm a little bit more active. So I like to look for what I like to call nested squeezes, right? Setups within setups. So you have a situation where we know that the overall daily chart is very bullish. We know we have a daily TPS setup. And within that, can we zoom in and find the setups within the setups? Because the chart isn't just going to go right from here to here in a straight line, right? It doesn't just go like that. That's not how price works. It goes up, it consolidates, it goes up, it consolidates, it goes up, it consolidates, right? So we're looking for these consolidations to pull trades out of, all right? Which I thought was pretty cool. Now, the trade I'm going to show you for this week is a bit of a flyer, admittedly. It probably will either work spectacularly or fail miserably. And that's okay, because I just position size accordingly. The name that I'm going to look at this week is actually Riley. And this is a weekly chart. It's a name with very high short float. Let me show you this here. Riley FinViz. So we've got 30% short float. So a name with 30% short float. And this weekly squeeze, this is a pretty beat up name, obviously, but this weekly squeeze here is trying to fire long this week. And you can see if Riley can kind of get above $8 to $10, there's a gap to fill all the way up here to 17. So you've got like a $7 range where there is no real resistance. Now, it's not just going to go like this in one candle, right? It's going to, if this works, it'll probably take time to fill this gap. But I think this is a pretty interesting situation with the extremely high short float and the weekly squeeze firing long. So for me, this is pretty simple. This trade setup right there, next earnings are probably out into February. So I'm going to go even further than that. I'll go out into the March. I guess they don't even have March options. So I'll go out into the April options. Their options are really, really cheap, right? So we'll go out into the April options. And I would just say grab you could do the 750s or the 10s. I'm going to go with the 10s just because they're cheaper. So just grab some of these and then sit on it and see if you can get a gap close at 17 before this expires. It's a pretty simple, straightforward trade, giving yourself plenty of time because it is a weekly chart. So I'll get this marked up and sent out. But that's the idea here. Looking for a short squeeze in Riley and a gap close for a target going out to April and just getting those options and sitting on them. All right, that's what I've got for this week. I hope it helps, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Later.